You suck, you jackass.
The Kamala Harris campaign is in full implosion mode, and it's easy to see why. She has been giving a string of disastrous interviews where her personality is on full display. She's been flip-flopping on all of the key issues, and people can easily do their own research and say, hey, she used to say this, but now she's saying this. And lastly, we have the horrible response to Hurricane Helene, where billions of dollars have been spent overseas to help out with foreign wars, where billions of dollars have been spent domestically to help out illegal immigrants, but nothing has been done for American citizens. And guess what? We don't like it. And all of this is being reflected in the polls. As you can see over here from Yahoo YouGov, we have a new poll showing that Donald Trump is up 2, Kamala Harris is down 2, and they are in a dead heat. Now, why is this good news? Because all of the left-leaning polls out there have been showing Kamala Harris trouncing Donald Trump. And now we're starting to see the truth being revealed. And if we come over here to Rasmussen, we can see that, yes, the trend is also following suit here. We have Kamala Harris down 46 and Donald Trump up 51. Now, a lot of people would say, hey, Rasmussen is a right-leaning organization, and you could make that argument. However, if you look back here on October 2nd, Kamala Harris was up 50 to Donald Trump's 47. So that's obviously not a very good biased poll, if you ask me. And lastly, we have Polymarket over here, which is reactionary, by the way, but they have a huge gap. Trump up 54 to Kamala Harris's 45% chance of winning. And all of this is the result of people just noticing who Kamala Harris actually is and comparing her to Donald Trump's past success. So what we're going to see today is the lowlights of the Kamala Harris interview over on 60 Minutes that did not do her any favors. So let's go ahead and jump into these clips. But before we begin, please like and comment on this video so we can break through the algorithms. Here we go.
You want to expand the child tax credit.
Yes, I do.
You want to give tax breaks to first-time home buyers.
Yes.
And people starting small businesses.
Correct.
But it is estimated by the Nonpartisan Committee for Responsible Federal Budget that your economic plan would add $3 trillion to the federal deficit over the next decade. How are you going to pay for that?
Okay, so the other economists that have reviewed my plan versus my opponent and determined that my economic plan would strengthen America's economy, his would weaken it.
But
my plan, Bill, if you don't mind, my plan is about saying that when you invest in small businesses, you invest in the middle class, and you strengthen America's economy. Small businesses are part of the backbone of America's economy.
But pardon me, Madam Vice President, the question was, how are you going to pay for it?
Well, one of the things is I'm going to make sure that the richest among us who can afford it pay their fair share in taxes. It is not right that teachers and nurses and firefighters are paying a higher tax rate than billionaires and the biggest corporations. And I plan on making that fair.
But we're dealing with the real world here.
But the real world includes...
How are you going to get this through Congress?
You know, when you talk quietly with a lot of folks in Congress, they know exactly what I'm talking about because their constituents know exactly what I'm talking about.
I love the way she just gets so flummoxed, so flabbergasted that someone would actually push back on her and ask a follow-up question and say, hey, what about reality of getting any of your crazy pie-in-the-sky ideas passed? What are you going to do? But Kamala Harris, she's not that bright. So what does she say? I'm going after the billionaires. Okay, they have to pay their fair share. That sounds awful socialistic of you, right? Class warfare of you. And this is the tiredest argument. I can't believe people are still making it because it is so easily debunked. All you have to do is be a person who's actually done your own taxes. And we all know we have a progressive tax system where if you make this much, you pay this much in taxes. And if you make more, you go up to the next tax bracket and pay even more in taxes. And that's how it works. So obviously, the richer you are, the more you pay in taxes. Now, there's other things going on there in terms of capital gains taxes, etc. But when you look at straight across the board income tax, this argument does not hold up. So please stop making it.
Let me tell you what your critics and the columnists say.
Okay.
They say that the reason so many voters don't know you is that you have changed your position on so many things. You were against fracking, now you're for it. You supported looser immigration policies, now you're tightening them up. You were for Medicare for all, now you're not. So many that people don't truly know what you believe or what you stand for. And I know you've heard that.
In the last 4 years, I have been Vice President of the United States, and I have been traveling our country, and I have been listening to folks and seeking what is possible in terms of common ground. I believe in building consensus. We are a diverse people, geographically, regionally, in terms of where we are in our backgrounds. And what the American people do want is that we have leaders who can build consensus, where we can figure out compromise and understand it's not a bad thing, as long as you don't compromise your values, to find common sense solutions. And that has been my approach.
These are the same talking points she had all the way back on her CBS interview, right? Her values have not changed. She wants to build consensus. Essentially, she's saying she doesn't stand for anything, or she's lying to everyone, because that's always what Democrats do. They go out and run as leftists until it's time for the general election, and then they run as centrists because they know that American people don't agree with any of their crazy leftist policies. And that's why the American people don't feel like they know who she is, because they've seen on video of her taking both sides of every position, and they don't know what to think other than, hey, she's a liar. And guess what? The polls are starting to reflect that too.
You recently visited the southern border and embraced President Biden's recent crackdown on asylum seekers. And that crackdown produced an almost immediate and dramatic decrease in the number of border crossings. If that's the right answer now, why didn't your administration take those steps in 2021?
The first bill we proposed to Congress was to fix our broken immigration system, knowing that if you want to actually fix it, we need Congress to act. It was not taken up. Fast forward to a moment when a bipartisan group of members of the United States Senate, including one of the most conservative members of the United States Senate, got together, came up with a border security bill. Well, guess what happened? Donald Trump got word that this bill was afoot and could be passed, and he wants to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. So he told his buddies in Congress, kill the bill, don't let it move forward.
But I've been covering the border for years, and so I know this is not a problem that started with your administration.
Correct.
But there was an historic flood of undocumented immigrants coming across the border the first 3 years of your administration. As a matter of fact, arrivals quadrupled from the last year of President Trump. Was it a mistake to loosen the immigration policies as much as you did?
It's a long-standing problem, and solutions are at hand. And from day one, literally, we have been offering solutions.
What I was asking was it a mistake to kind of allow that flood to happen in the first place?
I think the policies that we have been proposing are about fixing a problem, not promoting a problem. Okay?
But the numbers did quadruple.
And the numbers today,
watch.
because of what we have done, we have cut the flow of illegal immigration by half.
But should you
we
have
have
done
cut
that?
the
Should you
flow
have
of
done that?
fentanyl by half, but we need Congress to be able to act to actually fix the problem.
Yes, congratulations. You've gotten illegal immigration cut down by half, which means it's only now 2 times as high at any point as it was under Donald Trump. Now, he, of course, had common sense solutions, right? Shut down the border, build the wall, remain in Mexico, all things that you undid on day one, may I add. So you have no leg to stand on in this argument, because you've proven that, yes, it can be done, and it can be done without Congress, because all you have to do is enact existing law and have the guts to actually say, you know what, you're not coming in anymore. However, they're still too busy flying people into this country from all over the world. And of course, they're too busy to guard our ports on the east and west coast. And they're too busy to stop our northern border problem as well. But the southern border, we've cut that down by half, all right? And I love the follow-up question. The numbers have quadrupled under your administration. Why is it the right thing to do now when it wasn't the right thing to do then? And what does she pivot to? Donald Trump had the option to run on a problem, and he chose the problem. That's the same talking point she's been making for over a month now. It has not changed, okay? But at least she's got a little bit of pushback. And this is the type of thing that people are seeing and pointing out and saying, wow, what a freaking hypocrite. We don't want her anywhere near the Oval Office, and this is why her numbers are tanking. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and stay safe out there, people, because they're coming after you.